I'm hungry.
Hey guys, welcome to this episode of My Girlfriend's Hungry. My name is Jamie, and today we're gonna make way too chefy enchiladas. All right, let's cover the ingredients. I have about 8 tomatoes on the vine here, some fresh tomatillos, onions, some celery, white rice. There's some limes in there too. For the canned items, I have some crushed or pre-chopped garlic. We call it garlic in this household. This is for chefs in a hurry. Some crushed red tomatoes, chipotle peppers, some extra chicken broth. We'll be making our own chicken stock today, but never hurts to have a little extra on hand. Some nice green chilies. For the protein, we have 1 whole chicken and chorizo. Right here we chopped up 2 onions as well as about like 5-6 stalks of that there celery. This is gonna be the base for a little stock, like a quick stock. Normally there'd be carrots in there, but I don't really want the flavor of that in my enchiladas. If you wanna take your protein handling game to the next level, invest in some of these bad babies. In a big ass pot, I have all that celery, the onions. I cut up that whole chicken breast like pretty much into quarters, and all that stuff on top there is garlicky goodness. All right, now so I've just covered that all with some water. It's okay if it's sticking out a little bit. We're gonna let this cook for an hour, so as long as you flip it, you know, at the halfway point or sometimes similar, you're just gonna be all right. So we're gonna let this cook for like an hour and a half. Obviously checking it. And while that's going on, I have the oven preheating here because of the next step. So I took all them there tomatoes and quartered them up, laid them out in this pan, tossed them in some olive oil, garlic powder, pepper, and salt. And this is gonna be the base of our enchilada sauce. I don't know if you've ever eaten enchilada sauce in a can from the grocery store, but it fucking sucks. So I'm gonna show you how to make it with these here tomatoes and a bunch of other shit. Our oven just preheated, perfect timing. So now we're just gonna throw this into the oven. Boom. All right, so I just pulled the tomatoes out of the oven. It's been about a half an hour or so. You wanna look for like this wrinkled goodness here to let you know that they're all ready to go. And then, so I brought the whole concoction up to a boil and then let it simmer. Been simmering here for about an hour. I've been looking at the chicken. It looks like it's pretty good to go. So I'm gonna pull this out and then keep it rolling. So I have all the chicken pulled out of the stock here. I'm gonna set that aside and let it cool so I can pull it apart. But I'll keep the stock on the stove for about another hour to let that reduce a little bit and let those flavors intensify. Don't worry about all the stuff in there. We're gonna be draining it out. So that's all that's left is the beautiful broth inside. And now it's time for everybody's favorite part. Chorizo! There's about 3 or 4 links worth of chorizo in here. I just broke them out of their casing, and I'm just gonna kind of ground them up a little bit so that they're nice and brown. All right, so I shredded all that chicken. I like to do it by hand because there's a lot of dark meat, a lot of nasty giblets in there you want to kind of pull off. If you do it by hand, you can definitely edit it a lot more. All I'm gonna do is add that chicken to the chorizo that we have over here, already cooked down. Look at that. Oh man, that looks so wonderful. I wanted to keep the ratio of chorizo a little bit more than that of the chicken, but there's definitely a lot of chicken in here. I also squeezed a little bit of lime juice in there to give it a little acidity. This is looking so great. So what I've done is I strained all that beautiful, healthy stock, just like with a pasta strainer. When you do so, be super careful because that steam heat is real and you'll burn yourself. So there's a layer of fat on here. We're just gonna skim that off on the top and then keep it rocking. Now that the stock is all done, we can go ahead and start making our rice as well as our enchilada sauce. So what I have here is just about a cup and a half of regular white rice. I heated up a healthy amount of oil, nothing crazy, but just enough to coat the rice in a pan. And I'm just toasting the grains of rice until they're golden brown. All right, now that the rice is toasted, I just added about a half a cup of those crushed red tomatoes from earlier. So I'm just gonna let that cook down for just a little bit before I add the chicken stock. All right, so I added my chicken stock, and if you haven't made rice or pasta with stock, especially homemade stock, man, it's totally a game changer. A good friend of mine once told me the secret to making white rice is you want to fill up enough liquid on top of the rice so that it comes up to that first little notch in your finger there. And that's how you know you got enough water. All right, time to make our enchilada sauce. So here are the 4 C's: chipotle pepper, cumin, chili, and cayenne pepper, as well as some lemon juice, salt, and pepper. And then I'm gonna add that to these lovely roasted tomatoes. All right, and when you're done, you should have something that looks similar to this. So it's all gonna depend on your personal taste. You definitely don't want it to be too thin, so I added chicken stock to it, the homemade chicken stock, for the flavor. But if it gets too thin, you can always add more tomatoes. That's why I have the extra crushed tomatoes here. If it gets too thick, just add some more chicken stock or water if you don't have any chicken stock left over. Chili and cumin and lime are really what's driving a lot of the flavors on this, as well as black pepper. So yeah, hopefully yours tastes super good or looks something like this. And make sure you're tasting it. This is the last prep item. I actually have those tomatillos from before with a little lime juice, salt, and pepper. This is gonna go into the rice, so I'm just gonna puree that really quick. Looks like our rice is just finished up. I'm gonna add some green chilies in there. Also, don't forget to season it. Again, the stock didn't have any salt or pepper, so this rice is gonna be pretty bland unless you add like salt, pepper. I put a little garlic powder in here too. But yeah, I'm gonna mix that together and we're ready to assemble everything. All right, so we have our mixture here. It's about 2 parts chicken chorizo to 1 part rice, or whatever you're comfortable with. I've added a bunch of Mexican rice in here, Mexican cheese, rather, about a cup in there. Also a little bit of lime juice, and then about a half a cup of that enchilada sauce to make the flavors more consistent. All right, so in a baking dish here, I poured some of the enchilada sauce under the bottom. My girlfriend is doing this gluten-free thing right now, so I got her these gluten-free spinach herb wraps. So we're gonna see how those taste. I myself will be eating regular full-on gluten tortillas. So we're doing 2 batches here, but yeah, fill the bottom of the pan with that enchilada sauce. All right, I have these beauties all rolled up. I usually like to take a spoon here and just kind of spread it out evenly, make sure not to puncture the tortilla shells. The most important part is kind of getting in there and rocking it so that all that lovely sauce gets in between. Oh man, look at all that cheesy goodness. Now, if you're still buying pre-shredded cheese, you're doing it wrong. The best way by far is to get a block and shred it yourself. It'll be a lot creamier and less dried out. Now, just in case you were wondering, these are the less healthy for you flour versions. Now let's go in the oven for about 20-30 minutes at 375 until all that wonderful golden cheese, or until all that wonderful cheese is melted. And here it is, enchiladas. Play a sauce in there, ooey, gooey, delicious looking. There it is, guys. Chicken chorizo enchiladas. But stack them up and put any extra enchilada sauce on top so they're not like super dry. Throw it with that rice and some sour cream. Enjoy. How is it? Yeah. Delicious.
Yeah.